Indian Airline chairman thrives in pandemic by turning to medical services. Ajay Singh had little involvement with medical care, however, last November, as the nation was being beat by COVID, he out of nowhere stretched out into COVID-19 testing and later genomic sequencing. Known for his associations with Narendra Modi, India's PM, he is credited with begetting the 2014 political race trademark, "Ab ki baar Modi Sarkar." Singh dispatched SpiceHealth, vowing to make tests less expensive, quicker and more available. In no time, the gathering had broadened its range the nation over, giving the testing in April to a portion of the large numbers of people who joined the yearly Kumbh Mela, the country's greatest strict social affair that was subsequently seen as a superspreader occasion. Singh's fast rotate from the loss-making career into medical services highlights how a portion of India's greatest businessmen have figured out how to succeed in any event, even the pandemic. Indeed, even before the most recent C-19 flare-up, SpiceJet, in which Singh has a 60% stake, was faltering from a public lockdown a year ago. The carrier announced misfortunes in the previous 4 quarters and has reduced the compensations of some staff for quite a long time. In February, in an audit, Walker Chandiok & Co. said there was material vulnerability over SpiceJet's capacity to proceed as a going concern. Its misfortunes would have been much more extensive had it excluded anticipated remuneration from Boeing for the grounding of Max airplane. "We can't see how they are surviving," said a leader at an adversary carrier. Jitendra Bhargava, previous leader head of Air India, commended Singh for his administration of SpiceJet, saving it 7 years prior when it was almost bankrupt and moving rapidly to eat up the airplane of opponent Jet Airways after it fell in 2019. He has progressed nicely, yet all things considered, barely any airlines have cash reserves. "How long would one be able to support with the subsequent wave we've had?" said Bhargava. Yet, industry leaders and examiners say that Singh is a pioneer who is probably going to overcome the disturbance. "Indian aviation is suffocating, yet Ajay will endure," said Neelam Matthews, an aviation expert in New Delhi. Tushar Srivastav, head of correspondences for SpiceJet and SpiceHealth, said, "No blessings were looked for or given by the public authority to the organization. SpiceJet, under Singh's influence and management, settled every one of the obligations important to restore the carrier in 2014, and there was no monetary help or waivers given by the public authority." SpiceHealth was formed utilizing Singh's own cash. The organization began with fast tests at that point stretched into different items, including deals of Spice Oxy, a ventilation gadget. Run by his 24-year-old daughter Avani Singh, SpiceHealth, a different organization from SpiceJet, works 15 portable labs the nation over that each have an everyday limit of 3,000 tests. SpiceHealth has set up a genomic sequencing office in Delhi's airport terminal, and Avani has spoken about moving into vaccine obtainment and dissemination. The Spice Group moved 34 meters C-19 vaccination the nation over between January and April. During the subsequent wave, they carried a huge number of oxygen concentrators from Beijing, Nanjing, Wuhan and Hong Kong to India to calm a lack of oxygen. In March, he was shortlisted as a bidder for Air India, the state-claimed stone monument that New Delhi has been attempting to privatize for quite a long time. On the off chance that he succeeds, a purchaser is set to be reported in the not-so-distant future. Singh should take on an eye-watering $3.3 billion of obligation. "You must give it to Ajay Singh. Something that can't be denied to him is that he's a person that takes advantage of opportunities," said Bhargava.